Please call Stella. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese, and maybe a snack for her brother Bob. We also need a small plastic snake and a big toy frog for the kids. She can scoop these things into 3 red bags, and we will go meet her Wednesday at the train station. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, they act as a prism and form a rainbow. These take the shape of a long round arch with its path high above, and its 2 ends apparently beyond the horizon. There is, according to legend, a boiling pot of gold at one end. People look, but no one ever finds it. When a man looks for something beyond his reach, his friends say he is looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Throughout the centuries, people have explained the rainbow in various ways. Some have accepted it as a miracle without physical explanation. To the Hebrews, it was a token that there would be no more universal floods. The Greeks used to imagine that it was a sign from the god to foretell war or heavy rain. The Norsemen considered the rainbow as a bridge over which the gods passed from earth to their home in the sky. Others have tried to explain the phenomenon physically. Aristotle thought that the rainbow was caused by reflection in the sun's rays by the rain. Since then, physicists have found that it is not reflection but refraction by the raindrops which causes the rainbows. Many complicated ideas about the rainbow have been formed. The difference in the rainbow depends considerably upon the size of the drops, and the width of the coloured band increases as the size of the drops increases. The actual primary rainbow observed is said to be the effect of superimposition of a number of bows. If the red of the second bow falls upon the green of the first, the result is to give a bow with an abnormally wide yellow band, since red and green light, when mixed, form yellow. This is a very common type of bow, one showing mainly red and yellow, with little or no green or blue. Meetings will also remain private. Movement has to take place. I feel I did not have enough time. We will look into it. This is a central issue. Nonetheless, the overall picture is healthy. The Premier League has been a huge success. There, you are just a body. It is not for any other purpose. President Bush is at war. I became a widow overnight. Ian Duncan Smith is a decent man. This represents a tough game for us. She hopes to study in Britain one day. Among them are many criminals. Yesterday, he was busy in his office. He looks like an Afghan. It will concentrate on the Thames Valley. I had come back from London. If I was a woman, he was a home referee. There was no safety net. The casting of her husband was an accident. We have to look beyond the very short term. I expect a rapid response. That is very hard alone. The motive for the shooting was not known. In time, the First Minister will grow in stature. 4 other charges were dropped. I could not do it. Why do you want to come to Edinburgh? How are you, sir? So is that it then? Do I have a favourite? What do we do? The rate of growth in road traffic is already beginning to slow. There was no mention of an amnesty in the Belfast Agreement. They have to come up with a solution. We will pay their bills. Over time, with patience and precision, the terrorists will be pursued. He becomes the new Minister for Sport and Culture. Strathclyde Police have appealed for witnesses. I have proved that in the past. He had been a singer. They would now be able to look forward with confidence. Then followed a bout of flu. Both sides have been hit by injury. Halifax has also been mentioned as a likely predator. It is a terrible place. Even the one she loved. After 5 weeks, the vehicle will be sold at auction. There may be reasons for it. I first met him last summer. Last week he was taken into hospital. Obviously we were pretty close in a couple of games. Here too the post office has missed the boat. By then he was walking on water. We have to offer value for money. They lived for their children. Potions said he would drive. The latter is due to be finished in February. This is a complex and detailed report. The outsourcing deal will take effect in September. We will deal with the refugees. You might not make it. It is open season on the old firm. That is the important thing. For once, you should believe the hype. Clark was desperate to return to the House of Commons. Their attitude is all wrong. You are like an animal. No, the equipment is extra. The following are the principal provisions. It will also require a lengthy series of clinical trials. While they went on holiday, we got the contract. I had a fortunate war. I did not see any reason to change the captain. Saddam Hussein is a devil. It was never a starter. And the match was not too bad either. Such actions are rarely popular. It is safe in our hands. Then came the farewell to Europe. It is much as it has been described. You can spend money on housing. That admission is not surprising. Not a great deal has changed in the last decade. It has removed a bit of guilt. However, we have to be cautious. But we could only help a handful of people. It is just a tax on employment. This should begin in October. My life has changed a lot. We did what we had to do. Why do it otherwise? What kind of man does that, Mr. Dick? So, did she meet him? So what is the campaign about? And does it? You've got to be vigilant. We are amazed that the current trading figures were so weak. Any success would have been an improvement. On Friday, the head teacher and deputy head teacher appeared at the door. And I have some advice for my old friend. He is a great addition to our team. However, this move is dependent upon the sale of the existing site. I felt he was excellent. They could use a boost. It is a vicious circle. We could easily have lost that game. This is a limited market. Our position is quite simple. 5 minutes later, the home team were back in front. Their prescription is largely about changing attitudes. Drugs are used a lot at the fishing. He's not a Celtic man. It opens the door to the Champions League. So I got a blood test. It will include the Black Watch, the Royal Highland Regiment. These men are a part of India. Like the others, he was arrested. There's only one team in Ayrshire. It was deployed in the Gulf War. That was the difference between the sides. Charles Gordon, leader of Glasgow City Council, declined to comment. I was shaking on the blocks. She had gone to the Catholic school. This year, this month, will be special for Torrance. The strong pound also took its toll. It was a funny feeling. I'd love to be like Peter. Adams is surely worth a chance. It is difficult to say. He was in great spirits. 7 people were later detained by police. They want to see him. Next year it plans to open an office in Tokyo. Nobody did in those days. There is no signature on this document. We've made a couple of albums. What happened in that game? Are you going to win? Was it the wife? Why change it? What do we want to do that for? The people are the hero. One season, they might do well. They made such decisions in London. The second aspect was the fear of failure. The jury is still out. But he has a lifeline. The expansions will be financed by the Clydesdale Bank. I'm just going to hit the shot. It makes no influence on the public. That will apply to both sets of fans. I think it's a good sign. I have spoken to head office. Well, you can have a tree. They bought the property 4 years ago. He is believed to live in Britain. We've just had it confirmed. A copy of the report will be sent to them. This is the time to use it. You know the sort of thing. They were seriously after him. It was only later that the condition was diagnosed. Trading conditions have not been that bad. I'm interested in interesting work. It will be reviewed in the Herald tomorrow. The force is with them. If the director is with you, he made no order on cost. I guess I was lucky though. This year it will amount to a few £100,000. It was served by sheriff officers. This will be our new beginning. They have the cash and the firepower. My heart is with the artist. That might mean another delay. However, it is not as simple as this. The sanctions are about collective punishment. This is a holy place. Does the name matter? How do you get it back? What are you not good at? I think, therefore I am. Who was she? You have caught a serial killer. It seemed a moving and fitting tribute. The move follows a review of the Singapore. They make a selective perception process. There is no quick fix. They have known the hard times. That might help a bit. I'm just a regular person. My daughter is an adult. He would discuss the peace process in Northern Ireland. It's just a normal life. He must get to know himself. And the World Cup has not even begun. He remains a main board director of Royal. The fight is underway. It was a miserable afternoon in Fife. They all made the European Ryder Cup team. We can certainly build on this. William Hague delighted his party. There is a world of difference. We played them off the pitch. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I can't wait to meet him. My wife and family are the support system. They included certain insurance policies and his share of the house. It is the voice of the survivors. She died in middle age. It is set in Paris. You will have seen the adverts. It is possible to be too good. Moreover, it must be for all sports. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The irony was not lost. 3 weeks later, he resigned. It is a court case. It might be sad, but it's a fact. She took them for a term. Kingfisher can afford to wait. NATO was not a love affair. We lost our composure towards the interval, he said. Hospitals and school building will go ahead. You can feel at home in China. Our decision-making was poor. The calls were last night rejected by the US and the UK. The baby deserves the credit. And they were being paid? Was everything done to save people? What was a matter for concern? Do I think about them often? Is it in the right place? Did he trip? In the meantime, the fans would settle for a derby win. I should think so too. No production contract is yet in sight. The capital costs are modest. This is no reflection on Rangers. I told you I was ill. I can't get a job. That could be in place by next year. On the contrary, they stand to gain. Blair is very positive at European councils. I rejected the idea of a separate residence. It does not work that way in Scottish football. Everyone is a winner. There's not much money in cycling. This court has made an order which has not been observed. Not many companies can say that these days. They can leave at any time. You get a lot for your money. As for Scotland, we can just enjoy the moment. It would create a Scottish secretary with a lot of weight. It was an easy decision to come here. Both companies have had a rough ride in recent years. He ran into immediate problems with local people and police. But the plot is not the point. It was never a free kick. My body is a wreck. It's called the Supreme Court for a reason. She has fallen in love with Scotland, however. She failed in her action. Stephen will get his first cap. It's hard to see it. Her appeal is to be heard this week. We have to be very, very careful. The partnership was set up during the summer. There was a final revealing detail about the broadcast. It is an amazing response. Size is not the issue. He will address the nation this evening. We have the easy part. We are not increasing the number. I'm looking for work in Bath and back home in Scotland. They do not reflect the quality of the brand. It could well be military. And that culture is everywhere in Dublin. His job was not advertised. This is a big step up. It goes back a long way. The weather forecast isn't good. We have a clean bill of health. In that case, the children were not missing. I have got a victim. The judge was really nice. If you can run a computer, you can talk to the world. McNaughton was not so sure. The dealer is on notice. It is hoped to complete the merger in the summer. The party lasted all night. He would help me with the form. There's still a bit to go. I'm not worried about the critics. I would do away with the dress code. It is so easy to be negative. What form did that take? Are they free? What are they for? Is there a waiting list? Do they think anyone else wants them? So what happens next? The result was a crisis for the global financial system. I am not obsessed with sex. Have a look at this lot. That decision will be made over the next couple of days. Public opinion was split on the proposal. The king is delighted by the honour. I've got a sense of humour too. In the old days it was easy. I came into this world with nothing. This is a trend which will be encouraged. There will have to be a full inquiry. There was no timescale. In his absence, the council adopted the change. Whether this return was too soon. The US Open was very difficult, but it was enjoyable. They were the acts of men. Shoppers were attracted by the heavy discounting on selected items. Of course we want to go home. I am very interested in the subject. He is not very big either. A report is expected next month. We are encouraged by the news. Had this been common practice? What do they want us to do? Is it worth it? Does it matter? A crucial moment has arrived. Hopefully it will come from someone on our side. We need to be prepared. Not that Scotland can claim the moral high ground. His views are hardly surprising. The announcement was made after inquiries from a national newspaper. It has been made to entertain. It is a stroke of genius. Italy was just behind the US. It was forced to divert. Alex Ferguson is the same. I would like to focus on a structure and a target. We are still getting over it. This will impact on us. From our point of view, the player is free to leave. He is in the queue. The salary changes are long overdue. I do not like to lose. I am a member of the Labour Party staff. There is no deal as yet. In due course the deal was done. Celtic were pleased to help. They will fight for everything. That's not like us at all. You have to rely on each other. I wanted to go out on a high. I felt the head was very like me. It is a terrible equation. They have not got anyone. I can hardly believe it. How do you take them away? However, there is an issue, isn't there? After the match, do you? Persuaded to change his mind.